Welcome back to the workshop. This is episode 3 of making an Indian KATAR. We made some funky Damascus. We forged out the blade in the last episode, which means that now we got to grind off all this scale so that we can etch it and see, did our pattern stay central?
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, look at that pattern. Just
beautiful.
Yep. It's really evident that this is Damascus steel. I think I might need to take this to a higher grit to be able to see it. This is 36 grit. Let's try 60. Oh, yes. You ask, Damascus provides. Look at that bad mama jamma. Also, it's way off center and doesn't look good. So here's my concern. This is offset on that side, and that, wait, what? Well, whatever it is, it's not as even as I'd like. You see, it's a bit squiggly wiggly, it's a bit bowy woey. This was my concern. I was talking about this in the last episode, the challenge of making a pattern that requires symmetry that then has to go on a symmetrical blade. That's not so easy. In other exciting news, guess what? I have become an official lord, and you or your loved ones can too with today's sponsor, which is Established Titles. It's a fun and exciting way of not only becoming a lord, but also helping to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland and reforestation efforts around the world. It's based on a historic custom in Scotland where the owning of land makes you either a lord or a lady, and when you purchase a pack, it gives you ownership of 1 square foot of dedicated land in Edelston, Scotland, with an official certificate for you to keep to boot. With every order, Established Titles plants a tree as they work with global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. In the run-up to Christmas, these make for a great last-minute gift. Sure to put a smile on anybody's face as they can now declare they're a lord with the proof to back it up. You could even include the title of Lord or Lady on your credit cards and plane tickets. The first 200 of you to purchase a title from my link, establishedtitles.com/forge, are going to get a plot that is right next to mine in Scotland. And on top of that, when you use code FORGE at checkout for their special Black Friday sale, you're going to get an additional 10% off. Check them out, makes an awesome gift. Let's get back to the video. With what we have, I need to kind of average it out between the two sides and then plot out what we could cut the blade to make it look even.
Would you rather be punched in the face by a kangaroo?
Yeah.
Or stood on the foot by a cow?
Stood on my foot by a cow, any day of the week.
How heavy is a cow?
Cow, like 1,000 pounds.
Right, so I'm in the edit here. This is quite incredible. I made this would you rather up on the spot. How hard can a kangaroo punch? The answer is 275 pounds. So I took the average size of a hoof, which is 3 by 2 inches, calculated that into square meters, used a calculator to turn the mass of a cow, 750 kilograms, and the square meter of the surface area, and the answer is 275 pounds. Exactly the same as a punch from a kangaroo. So either of them would hurt just as much. I guess it's about the tiny little bones in your foot as opposed to your face. I would personally probably be taking the punch in the face.
So I was hoping I'd be able to trace through onto the paper, but I can't.
Did you use tracing paper?
No, this is paper.
Oh, well, that's probably your issue then.
I don't have tracing paper.
You could try wet it.
Yeah, I could try wet it. How about a light dusting? Very curly now. Do you reckon our neighbour Matt might have tracing paper? Hello? Oh, he's on the crapper again. That's the second time in a week.
I
have a question for you. Do you have any tracing paper?
No.
Great. Look at these bad boys. That'll do the job, maybe.
I've got a good idea.
Yeah, what is it?
Put it inside the bag and then draw on top of the bag. And then you'd have it on both sides.
Hey, me. That is ridiculous. ridiculously smart. Ooh, that shows us just how far off center line our pattern is.
You're trying to draw an average of the two.
I am exactly trying to do that, an average of the two. That will do the trick, lovely, jubbly wobbly. So we put the blade inside this pocket and traced around both sides. I then worked out an average of the pattern, traced it onto this pocket. I then traced around the blade, then working out where the pattern goes really wonky, I knew where the end of my blade needs to be. I took a bit of paper, folded it in half, chucked it on top, and we now have a new blade outline. That's gonna be the new blade shape, and hopefully it looks good. So we've ground the perimeter to the lines of our template, and you can see there is still an unevenness in where that central pattern is, and it's opposite on both sides. So on this side, the central pattern's too far that way. On this side, the central pattern's too far that way, which doesn't make sense. They're opposite sides.
Like, for example, on here,
Yeah.
you'd have to grind off there, and then that would grind off here.
Exactly. So the whole pattern in this is at an angle like that. What I am hoping is that when it comes time to grinding the bevels, because it's at an angle like that, as we come down, it's going to even up the balance of pattern on either sides, and that's really going to be our only chance of this pattern looking much better. We're kind of stuck with what we've got. So with the perimeter all set up, I need to work out what's going to go on down here. And this is one of the really interesting parts about the KATAR, is there's no massive tang to bolt in or glue in. We're really very limited in the amount of fixing area we have. We have this frontal portion of our handle, and I think the technique that I'm going to go with for affixing this is making a tenon out of this section, and that tenon is going to require a mortise to be carved into our front handle section. The blade will slip in, and then I think it's going to be a case of doing some hidden rivets, or maybe visible rivets, to rivet the blade to the handle. I can't think of any other relatively strong way of getting this attached to the handle. But in order to do that, I'm going to need to make sure that this is nice and square and even, and is brought down to a decent final size. Got a central line scribed over some red dicam. I now need to work out what type of grinds do I want to do on this, and we've got many options. Number one, we could do a regular flat grind. So we've got two bevels, we'd have a ridge in the middle, and that would be nice and simple and cool. Number two, we could put a hollow right down the middle as one big fuller, and then have a regular grind the rest of the way. Number three, two hollows like this, and then a flat over here. Number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all the countless other possibilities for what we could do. So I've got to decide what interests me the most. What do you think interests you, Jamie?
Well, according to this drawing over here, doesn't this need to be flat for this Wow,
thank you, Jamie.
Doesn't this need to be flat for this engraving piece here?
Yeah, my machine still doesn't work.
We can't just not do the engraving just because the machine's bust. You've just got to fix the machine, surely.
Do you know how expensive those machines are? And how complicated as well? I don't know if it's just a case of fixing it. I've messed around with every setting imaginable, and it does not work. Okay, we've got sidetracked. Now apparently we're trying to fix my engraving machine. First step, what we're going to try is cleaning this handpiece.
So first things first, you're going to unscrew the very end of your handpiece.
Let's undo this.
You're going to have a spring come out.
Spring.
Your piston.
Piston.
Clean that off with, it might
Clean
be a
it
little bit
off.
gummy.
Looks fairly clean. Ooh, it now sings. It wasn't doing that. Okay, you ready? This should rattle. It does not rattle.
I reckon that if it's not the handpiece, then it must mean that there's not enough pressure getting to the handpiece to make it rattle. So maybe some pipes or valves they've got.
Taking apart the inside of this is going to suck. But it's very possible that we have to just, open this thing up. The airline, please! Please, Thank you so much. Right. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? That was satisfying.
Well, on the video, you just took these pipes off and pulled that out
And then cleaned it.
and cleaned it. It's like diffusing a bomb.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary. Bang! Gotcha. So that unscrews.
You unscrew there.
Bang! Ah! That actually got me. God, that is dirty as can be, isn't it? Right, go on. Give that a good clean, shall we, Jamie? Like that. You got a good angle of that. Oh, yes. Now we're cleaning. Let's whack it back on. I mean, it definitely feels a lot smoother. Connect these all back up. I love these little push fittings. They're great. Right, can you plug in that airline for me? Bang! You. Damn it, you're filming. It rattled. So that thing we cleaned is now spinning in there. How cool. So now let me tune it. What we're waiting for is a little rattle. I've got to put it on my mic. Yeah. It's rattling good. So I go to where it stops rattling. Here we go. It's proper rattling now, Jamie. There we go. And yes! We did it! Jamie, thank you. Thank you for making me clean this. If it wasn't for you making me clean this, we might not have ever done it in engraving again, because I'm very bad at everything in my life. Okay.
Right, so what I was saying is this bit over here looks like it needs to be flat for the engraving.
But does it? I think I could engrave it on curves. Not saying I can engrave it very well, but I think I could engrave it on the curves, in which case we'd be fine. But it did make me consider one thing. For us to be able to engrave it, it needs to be really soft. We're talking about 15N20, 1080, it's some tough steel. We're just looking at the dogs now.
You could have carried on.
I'll just carry on then. So in order for us to be able to engrave this material, it's not going to be possible for it to be done after hardening, which means that we need to engrave it before hardening, which means that we need to do all our grinding to basically the finished point before we harden it, which is not easy. It also then means that we need to polish over the engraved area, and so we've got a whole bunch of challenges that are getting me a little bit panicked right now, because I've never actually done this. I know it's possible to engrave on a blade and then harden it with the gold in. I know it's possible, but it just feels very risky. Oh wait, were we going to do gold or were we going to do silver? We were going to do silver, weren't we? That was our plan. It was going to be a silver-themed blade, because we've got that 15N20 in there. Oh no, but that's not going to work. It needs to be gold.
Why does it need to be gold?
Because it's 15N20, it's not 1080. It's going to be shiny. Shiny silver with shiny 15N20, not going to look so good.
And we weren't doing silver anyway, we were doing platinum.
Or maybe you were doing platinum, because you're not the one paying for the platinum.
It was like 50 quid in platinum.
Okay, we're doing platinum then, apparently. Yeah, that'll definitely look different enough, right?
I personally like the idea of those two fullers which come like that.
Yeah, you like that one?
And then flat on the front and the two fullers.
Okay, so it's fullered here, the fuller's end, and then it's a flat grind there.
I think that would look really cool.
Okay. Please don't forget to go become a lord or a lady at establishedtitles.com/forge. Oh yeah! Now did you know that these grinders are so good that when Snoop Dogg's full-time joint roller purchased one, his efficiency went up 10,000%. Our bevels are roughed in and we made quick work of it, but that's all we've got time for today. See you soon. Bye-bye.